The story about plasmalogens and plasmalogen biosynthesis is really an incredibly interesting one. As I've said in previous videos, the requirement for plasmalogens in the human body is obligate. If you're born with a genetic mutation that impairs your ability to make plasmalogens, this essentially creates death. Very shortened lifespan, extremely bad neurological diseases and neurological retardament in individuals that have a plasmalogen deficiency at birth. So plasmalogens are critically important. And due to their critical importance, the body has mechanisms to ensure that we make enough of them. And this is where it gets very interesting. So the human body requires nutrients from our environment, and it requires our ability to take nutrients from our environment to convert them into the molecules that we use to build our muscles and our cells and so on and so forth. Plasmalogens are made in an organelle called the peroxisome. Now there's two critical organelles in every single cell of the body. One is called the mitochondria, which most people hear about, and the other one is called peroxisomes, which most people have never heard of before. The mitochondria are the nuclear reactor of your body. It is an energy generator, and it's supposed to be a pure energy creator. We take in fats and sugars. So you have from the glucose system, and you have your fatty acid system. So your triacylglycerols and your starches are your primary sources of energy that the human body uses. The mitochondria are designed to take lipids like fat, triglycerides, and those get imported into the mitochondria, go through beta oxidation to acetyl-CoA, and that acetyl-CoA gets burned into carbon dioxide and water. So your mitochondria is just like internal combustion engine in your car. Fuel goes in, carbon dioxide and water go out, and it generates energy for life. So it's purely catabolic. It means it just breaks things down, generates energy. And that's how it's supposed to work. So it's a beautifully clean burning engine. The peroxisome is not that. Peroxisome is anabolic. The peroxisome takes these nutrients that we get and it uses them to make other starting materials for other biological processes in your body. So the peroxisome is what we call an anabolic organelle. And it also generates energy. About 30% of the energy of your cell comes from the peroxisome. And it does that by beta oxidation. And this beta oxidation creates this acetyl-CoA, but instead of this acetyl-CoA being used primarily for energy, which the mitochondria use it for, the acetyl-CoA generated from the peroxisome is used to make things, and it used to makes your cholesterol in your body, and it makes fatty acid elongation processes and so on. And it's also used to make plasmalogens. One of the most important purposes of the peroxisome is to actually make plasmalogens, and it makes them through a combination of beta oxidation, some unique enzyme systems. And this is normally a very robust system. What's important about plasmalogens is that there is no nutrient requirement. There are no essential nutrients required for your body to make plasmalogens. So the most basic level of fats can be used to make a plasmalogen. Unlike your essential nutrients like your omega-6s and your omega-3 fatty acids, which are essential. So we need linoleic acid and we need alpha-linolenic acid from the diet, because the human body cannot make omega-6 and omega-3 fatty acids. We require them from the diet. And we take those omega-6s and omega-3s and we make complex long-chain fatty acids like arachidonic acid, which is the omega-6 version, and DHA, which people will get supplemented from fish oils and so on. But we actually make our own DHA from alpha-linolenic acid. Okay? And so plasmalogens are made in the peroxisome. It's a single non-redundant system. So even though there's not multiple mechanisms to make plasmalogens, that one mechanism is used to make a large amount of plasmalogens. And your body uses a lot of plasmalogens. And peroxisome makes this alkyl glycerol molecule that then gets transported into the endoplasmic reticulum, and it becomes the phospholipid, like every other phospholipid in the human body. And one of the key aspects of it is this vinyl ether bond. And this vinyl ether bond that your body makes is also what makes it unavailable as a dietary source. So it's really important that you can make your own plasmalogens, because you cannot get it at any reasonable level in animal products. So even though you have high levels of plasmalogens in your lungs and in your heart and in your brain and in your muscles, when you eat that material from an animal, you're not actually absorbing plasmalogens, because that vinyl ether bond that gives the plasmalogens its unique qualities is not absorbable. It gets digested by the acids in your stomach. So you need to make them all. Your body can normally make lots of them, and it uses plasmalogens to protect against the breakdown of these essential nutrients, like the omega-6 and the omega-3 fatty acids. So this vinyl ether bond is like a fuse switch. It's what will blow to protect the entire wiring of your house. So the reason why you have a fuse on your refrigerator is that you don't want an electrical spike to fry the whole refrigerator. You just want it to fry this fuse, and then you can take the fuse and replace the fuse. That's what plasmalogens are. Plasmalogens are this sacrificial molecule, and your body makes it in large quantities in all of your membranes. And this vinyl ether bond is right near the polar head group, which means it's near the aqueous environment where all the oxidative stress and free radicals occur. And what will happen is, in an inflammation, in oxidative stress situation, this vinyl ether bond will get broken first. And so plasmalogens preserve your DHA and arachidonic acid levels. And it does that extremely well for 50, 60 years of our life, if not more, depending upon each individual person's life. However, as we get older, the accumulation of our life experience results in more and more liver damage, less and less liver efficiency. We also become more sedate. Okay, we do less exercise, less lifting as we get older, and so your muscles and the parts of your body that can make plasmalogens, we start using them as much. And so over time, we start making less of them because our liver function decreases. Now, normally that's not an issue when we're young. And so this ability for the body to make plasmalogens on demand serves us very well for most of our life. The other side of the coin is the consumption. So as diseases with high levels of inflammation, so multiple sclerosis, autism, any kind of chronic inflammatory disease, that will result in an excess consumption of plasmalogens. So if your body is experiencing excessive oxidative stress or excessive inflammation, then plasmalogens are being consumed more. And so it becomes a mass balance. It's a balance between how much you can make versus how much you consume. And as we get older, both of those variables start shifting in the wrong direction. We start having more inflammatory diseases. We become more susceptible to infections. And our liver and our function to make plasmalogens starts to decrease. And so that is fundamentally what happens. And it's kind of it's a double-edged sword. In one way, the human body is designed such that it can guarantee the manufacture of plasmalogens regardless of dietary deficiencies in certain fats. So we aren't dependent upon dietary precursors to make plasmalogens. However, the other side of that sword is that we can't actually get plasmalogens in our diet. So you actually have to make it. So when your body's internal production systems fail, there is no backup plan. Like once you stop making plasmalogens, there's no backup plan. And so that is the strangeness of the whole plasmalogen biosynthesis system. It's elegant in the sense that it is independent, but that independency also creates its Achilles heel and its weakness. So that's how plasmalogens are made, and that's why as we get older, we see more and more individuals with low levels of plasmalogens as we get older and older.